Hey, welcome into the Packer Outright Opinion Show. Hey, bro, did you ever hear all these other people when they do their shows and they're like super boring?
Yeah.
Why do people watch that stuff or listen to it? I don't get it. They want us to, should we be super boring too? I don't think we could. I don't think we could be boring. Maybe we could. We probably could if we wanted to. Anyway, that's fine. Watch those boring shows. Watch a good show too. Ben was, we were just talking before the show, and I thought this was a dominant victory over one of the NFC hot contenders. And Ben's picking it apart. He's getting all mad, being all negative. So I said, come on, we can't be like that after a big win. And then he's like, I'm going to be honest, he said. Guess that's what you get from us. You're not going to get all the boot licking, all that stuff. But there was a lot of good stuff. We'll talk about that too. I think there was some cool stuff that we'll highlight from the defense and talk about from the defense. But Ben had issues with the offense, and I get it. But it could be worse, right? Could have got your butts whooped by the Lions. Let's take a quick review, Ben. What do we think of the Lions' offensive line? Much worse than last year? Did the Packers just make it look worse? That much worse?
Well, either the Lions' offensive line is much worse, or Colby Wooden has turned into the greatest defensive tackle in Green Bay Packer history. Which one do you think is more likely?
He said he put on a little weight and he was ready to go. He's had a great camp.
Because he continuously destroyed dudes. Like
I'm gonna drink that Colby Wooden Kool-Aid until I see it not happening. You're not drinking it yet? I don't know. Hey,
no, that's great, but I mean, yes, I would love to see it happen, I guess. But
there was one here. I'm going to go to this because this is a good starter. This will make most people happy. I think this was a key part to the game, and it actually brings us back to the trade for Micah Parsons. Everybody was excited about seeing Micah Parsons, and the fans greeted him well and all that jazz. But I think it's very interesting when I listen to Jeff Hafley talk about stuff after the game. There was like a comment that, he made, a couple comments he made. This is one of them that I'm about to play. But also, I think it speaks to maybe what we hadn't been seeing, but could have seen the last couple of years, and then what we ended up seeing in his first game. So, I don't know. This is Jeff Hafley. You all know him. He's the Packers coordinator. He's a good dude. He's a guy that we wish was going to be their head coach, but he's not, that sort of stuff. But anyway, all the people, you ever watch those comments from Jeff Hafley press conferences? Everybody says they love hearing Jeff Hafley talk. They love his press conferences. He's very thoughtful and honest with his answers, just like you, thoughtful and honest. But he also is a guy, a lot of people are like, man, I wish he was our coach. Man, it's sad he's going to be gone. But here's one of the things he said. All right, I digress. Here's something interesting, and hopefully you notice this too. But Jeff Hafley said this.
We played fast as a defense. And again, I can't tell you, how can I explain this? When I'm watching film, when I hit the pause button at the end of the play and you see 11 guys all in the clip, I mean, that is like the greatest thing in the world for a coach. One, it shows they're bought in. Two, it shows that they love each other because they're playing hard for each other, right? And they're giving everything they have to each other. I mean, that's one of the greatest things as a coach. It's you find out a lot about your team when you hit the pause button. You find out how much they love football. You find out how much they love each other and how hard they're going to play for each other. I mean, that's what we're going to have to do again Thursday night because that's a fast player and it's a fast team.
So, I don't know. How does that strike you? What does it say? Like, I love that. I think it's great. I think it was noticeable in this game about guys attacking, flying around, being aggressive, getting to the ball, not standing and watching, but also not being too slow to get there. Like, it was different. And a big part of the reason it was different, and I know he's a great guy, and I know all this stuff, and I know we like him, and he was, a pretty average to okay player, but he was really slow, is that Kenny Clark was gone. And he wasn't taking up snaps from Devontae Wyatt and some of these other dudes who are way faster and pursue and can get there and can do some stuff. And you put that along with, yes, Cooper's there. Yes, Micah Parsons is fast. Yes, all these other things are there. But the interior defensive linemen were running around doing stuff. And I'm sorry, like when Kenny Clark's there, that just doesn't happen because he's too slow. So I loved it. Jeff Hafley said it. He wasn't saying it that way, but he was saying how he loved the clip and seeing all guys there. The other thing I noted in watching the game with Nick was like, man, it sure is nice to have corners that tackle, right? That come up and tackle, defensive backs that come up and tackle. Wow. Makes a big difference against the run game, doesn't it? When your defensive backs are active and trying to make plays and make tackles instead of standing there getting blocked. Those are two things that stood out to me.
I haven't watched the all 22 like I usually do because I haven't had time, but I have seen a couple clips here and there showing some of the Packer offensive line and some of their, and then the running backs picking up the blitz and stunts. And then I've also seen shots of the Lions offensive line and backs trying to pick up the stunts and failing terribly. And I think that was the key to the game. Like 100%. It was the fact that our offensive line and running backs were able to pick up stunts, pick up blitzes. And there's plays where, like, there's one play I saw where Sean Ryan lets a guy go, or he thinks the guy's in front of him is going to, he's supposed to cover him or, protect against him. And the guy drops out and another guy comes in through the middle. And then Chris Brooks comes up and just stymies. It was Anzalone, and he just freaking just destroys him. And then there's a loop that happened on the other side. And then Sean Ryan, like, awarely went over here and helped knock out that guy on in the same play, which gave Jordan Love enough time to get the ball out to Dontavian Wicks on his first down that he caught. And then there's a play later on, the pass to Matthew Golden, where Josh Jacobs actually came up and picked up the blitz for once. Not very well, not as good as Chris Brooks did, but it was still like really like he worked in tandem. And that was another one where Sean Ryan actually got over. Sean Ryan did a really good job in this game of kind of what Lucas Patrick used to do, is looking for work when there's not work for you. Like you think there's a guy there, he backs out, and then you go to try to help out because Josh Jacobs is going to get beat. He initially got the block on Anzalone, and then Sean Ryan came over and then took over and knocked him out so that Love had enough time to get the ball to Matthew Golden on the first down of that play. So those are two plays I saw in particular that showed the Packers running backs and offensive line working well against blitzes and stunts. And then I also saw, if everybody knows I like the O-line committee, those guys from the guy from Minnesota, and then he's got two offensive linemen that used to play in the league, right? Mm-hmm. They have a 19-minute video about the Micah Parsons effect on the Lions defense or Lions offense and the Packers defense with Micah Parsons, blah, blah, blah. And they show a lot of plays where guys were in some plays, or one play where Micah Parsons wasn't even on the field. So I don't know why they showed that one, but whatever. But they show stunts, the Packers doing stunts, and the Lions offensive line just doesn't know what's going on. Like they're totally whiffing on it. There's times where guys are there's a guy in front of him, and then he bet, like, a bunch of times Jeff Hafley would only send 4 guys, or 3 guys sometimes. Like there's one time in the red zone when Lions were in the red zone, and Hafley only sent 3, and he dropped Lucas Van Ness out and a couple other guys, and I
remember that. Yeah,
we're playing coverage a couple different times, and one time when he dropped Lucas Van Ness out, that was where Micah Parsons got the pressure. And then Jared Goff threw it out to Gibbs, and then Lucas Van Ness was there to freaking smack the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And then and that was awesome. And then there was a play later where they only sent 3 guys, and there was 8 guys in coverage, and Goff had nowhere to go with the ball. And the pressure didn't quite get there, but it sort of did because they had double team Michael Parsons. They had Michael Parsons lined up at D tackle on that play, and they had Carl Brooks on the outside. And it was enough time where Carl Brooks was single covered, right? So he could get in and make a play. And Gary came around the back end, and it wasn't a sack or anything, but it was a pressure, and he threw the ball to the left, and it was just a bad pass. And then I think that was the one where Evan Williams got his hand in there on Laporta, where Evan Williams was in the red zone. So, and Evan Williams played a lot around the line of scrimmage, I could see too. Mm-hmm. He wasn't just playing back. He was playing more up around the line of scrimmage. And so they kind of were moving guys, him and McKinney and Bullard, they were kind of swapping all over. They were doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But the key, I think, is the fact that the offensive line for the Lions definitely had issues in protection. And not just in passing, but also running. Because there were stunts against the run against the Lions where they that's how we got so many tackles for loss, right? I think we had 9 tackles for loss, where the offensive line for the Lion is the guy in front of him doesn't come at him, right? He actually runs into the left tackle instead of going at the left guard, right? And the left guard's like, oh crap. And then he looks over here, and while he's looking over there, here comes Rashawn Gary clean. And he didn't notice that Rashawn Gary is doing a loop on the play, and then he gets in the backfield right away and stops Gibbs for a loss. So there was stunts that worked against the pass and stunts that worked against the run. So the key for this week, for tomorrow's game, is, okay, is it that the Packers stunts are so good that they're awesome? Or is it that the Lions are really bad at picking them up? Because when you watch the Packers offensive line, they picked up the stunts. They were smart. They knew what they were doing. They have a bunch of guys who've played multiple years now. Pretty much everybody on that offensive line has been around for 3 or 4 years. And because of that, they're very cohesive and work together pretty well, even though with Banks is new. And even when Jack Tom went out, they had a couple guys come in and played pretty good at right tackle. And they did a great job of picking up the Lions. And Jordan Love really had no pressure in his face the whole game, except for on like 1 or 2 plays. So that's the key thing, is hopefully the Packers defense and the defensive line with all these stunts is going to work again and again and again. But the only thing, when you do stunts like that, you got to remember there's multiple times you watch it and they stunt and then they're together like this, right? There's all this open field here and here. So if they get picked up and you go up against a quarterback who can run, that's the other thing. There were escape lanes. Yep. There's escape lanes there for Jaden Daniels to get away.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Jared Goff's not going to get away, but Jaden Daniels would get away. So that's the thing I want to see is tomorrow night, does Jeff Hafley do something totally different, right? Instead of doing all these stunts and stuff, is he more going to have everybody stay still and not allow that escape route? Make Jaden Daniels have to go all the way to the outside to get away. And then our cornerbacks who can tackle have to be even more aware, So that's something that I noticed that I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be upset. You didn't comment on what I just said. You just said something totally different, but that's fine. You probably weren't listening.
I was just thinking of stuff.
Probably weren't listening.
You
were just thinking. No. Yeah. Great. Thanks for that. I actually listened to what you said, but I do think Jeff Hafley's a smart coach, and I think it'll show you too that.
Yeah, but I was looking at video at the time.
He's got He's got a game plan totally different, right?
Wait a minute. I ended with what you said. I ended with what you said, that the corners are tackles, or whatever.
Oh, okay. Maybe you caught that part.
And Kenny Clark's too slow to do stunts with.
Oh, is that
Kenny
what
Clark's too slow to do stunts? So that also talks about, you talk about Kenny Clark being slow. Yes, you're right. Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks are faster, and Devontae Wyatt, who freaking had the pressure. When you watch the O-line committee's video, they show that play.
Yeah,
and they said, based on their playing career, they said that's a play. They called it something. I don't remember what it was. They said Devontae Wyatt is supposed to get over, and because they said, watch Carl Brooks, or maybe it's Colby Wood, one of those two. And they watch how he's looking for Devontae Wyatt to come over and hit his guy so he can make the turnaround on a stunt. But Devontae Wyatt beat that freaking right guard so bad that he was just like, screw it, I'm going to quarterback, instead of doing his job. Because he was supposed to probably get over and like hit the center so that Carl Brooks could get around, or Colby Wood, whoever it was, can get around and make the play. But Devontae Wyatt was so quick and beat that guy so fast, he's like, screw it, I'm going to quarterback, and he got a sack, and it was awesome.
So I wonder, that's interesting too.
That he's too damn slow.
Right, 100%. Devontae Wyatt, I don't know if his conditioning is just that much better, or he could have played more snaps last year, or I don't know the whole story, but they need him.
He also got hurt, I think, for a while.
Right. And they need him, and he's going to be and he's going to have to be good. But he also they did pick up his 5th-year option, right? They didn't pick up Walker's 5th-year option. So that's different. I don't know what that tells you. I don't know what it doesn't tell you. I do think it's interesting that they went from, TJ Slayton, who could move pretty good for his size, but certainly wasn't as fast as these dudes. And I just look at that in particular is Kenny Clark took up a lot of snaps, took away a lot of snaps from a lot of these younger guys who can move. And now we're seeing the younger guys who can move play on the inside, which is good. And I think that does matter. The other thing that was interesting to me about the way the defense played is, yes, the corners, but also I was calling for my guy. I was like, where's my guy Coop? And then he'd show up. He's flying around. He's making plays. I didn't realize Quay Walker had as many tackles as he did. But he's obviously playing for a contract or playing for something. And so you put all that together, and I really like a lot of it. I don't know. And I liked it. I'm glad they had McKinney back most of the time and let those other guys play up and cause some havoc, because I think they're better at that, and they're better tacklers anyway, between Bullard and also Evan Williams. So maybe Jeff Hafley just actually has stuff he likes now and the right pieces he wants, and he can play the way he wants to play based on addition by subtraction here in this offseason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting. If we play against a team like the Eagles or the Ravens or whoever who aren't a pulling and, you know, stunting or whatever kind of offense team, right? They're more of a smash you in the mouth, beat you up kind of team. Can we hold up against them? Like, our offense is going to have to get a big lead like it did in game one, and continue to do that and keep putting points on the board. They can't have the whole third quarter happen like it happened on Sunday, where they couldn't move the ball, couldn't do jack squat, and looked like crap. And only thank God is that our defense was kicking the crap out of the Lions. That didn't matter, but it was really pathetic there for a while. Like, it was scary, scary bad. But we have to start every game fast. So the offense needs to be on top of stuff.
And we talked about it, and we know the defense has to be the stronger part of the team. I mean, the defense is where so much is invested. They have to be the reason the Packers win a bunch. They do. And it's a better recipe for long-term success anyway, because like we've said, weather and other stuff can cause all kinds of problems to a team that likes to throw the ball down the field. And the Packers like to throw the ball down the field. In this game, too, wasn't always great ideas, but some of the early ones were good. And I thought it was really interesting, especially, I guess we'll talk about the move, which surprised me, because I thought the way Romeo Doubs played and what he showed, the things he showed about going downfield and beating one-on-one coverage and stuff, like, I don't know why you signed Christian Watson to an extension, even though it was just 1 year, when Doubs is showing you that he's the more reliable player, and he's got way better hands, of course, than almost anybody, catches the ball with his hands, high points it, and he just showed you he can do the deep stuff too if needed. So not that he hasn't shown it before, but I was impressed with him in this game, because he just came out right away and was like attacking the football, and Love threw it up to him and he made plays. So I don't know. Everybody's saying he's probably gone, right? He's probably out of here. He might be gone before the year's up, right? That's what a lot of people are saying.
The Christian Watson extension makes no sense.
It
makes no sense. It is probably the dumbest move since Jair Alexander's big contract that Goody's made. And that's saying something, because he also signed Jordan Love to $55 million after 8 good games. So he's not exactly what Goody likes to do is tell everybody that what he did was the smart move. You can tell who Goody's idea to draft was and who actually is good based on who gets the contracts. TJ Slayton was a 5th round pick who ended up being a very good player, didn't get a contract. Why? We couldn't have paid him 2 years, $14 million. Easy.
Right.
And he'd be an awesome and important part of the team.
Yeah.
Christian Watson, who can't stay healthy for a season, has zero awareness where the ball is, has suspect hands, has zero agility, and can't adjust to the ball, right? He has no body control. That guy you give $13 million extension when he's not even playing right now? It makes no sense. And then Romeo Doubs, who has body awareness, can adjust to the ball in the air, has good hands, and last year had his little snafu where he didn't want to go to practice or whatever, but at least he's a solid guy you can count on to make plays and to catch the ball and to do things. That guy is probably not going to be on the team. Christian Watson is not good. I can't express this enough. He's not worth the money because he can't stay healthy. He's not. Anybody who thinks Christian Watson's good, watch Jordy Nelson film. And you'll see the difference between a 6'4", 6'3" wide receiver who's 200 some pounds and really fast. Those are all I just described Jordy Nelson and Christian Watson so far, right? The difference is one of them super aware. The other one, no idea what's going on. One of them, ability to adjust to the ball in the air and make the catch. The other one, no idea what's going on at all. One of them, incredible body control, can catch balls that are like thrown 4 yards out of bounds, keep his tiptoes, lean over and make a crazy catch. The other one can't even find the ball in the air to even like adjust when he gets turned the wrong way. He can't come back the other way to even adjust to make the catch. Doesn't matter if he's on the sideline or not. One of them, if it was a deep pass and you saw it was Jordy who was getting the ball thrown to him, you were like, touchdown! You knew it was going to be caught. The other one, it's a deep pass, and you see Christian Watson at the end, you're like, oh, God, it's a 50-50 shot. He's going to catch this. Please have him catch this. And then 50-50, sometimes he does, and sometimes he don't, even though he's wide-ass open and he has terrible hands, right? We know from his very first pass that was thrown to him, when he was wide-ass open, should have been a 70-yard bomb touchdown, and he dropped it against the Vikings, right? Just watch the film. He's not worth it. He's not a good player. He might be fast in a straight line. That's all he is. He's not a receiver. He can't catch. He can't adjust his body. He can't find the ball in the air. He looks so awkward every time he has to even remotely adjust. His only good route is his deep route that goes across the field. Right? Yeah, on those passes, on those over routes that go across the field from one side to the other, because he can build up his speed, get super fast, and the ball is getting thrown and leading him, and he sees the ball coming the whole way, and then he can catch it. Whenever it's a ball that's thrown deep and he's running vertically and the ball's coming, he can't adjust to know when that's going to come. Just watch Aaron Jones on Monday night. The ball's thrown. Aaron Jones had to slow down, wait a little bit, and then he turned his body the other way, caught it, made a touchdown for J.J. McCarthy, and the Vikings came back and won. Yeah. That's a guy and Aaron Jones sometimes doesn't have the best hands, right? He's a running back. But he showed you more ability as a receiver in that one play than Christian Watson has ever shown as far as being able to adjust your body, find the ball in the air, slow down a little bit, catch it, and then stay in bounds and get the touchdown, right? So I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are we wasting $13 million on this guy who hasn't, at least have him come back when he's healthy and have him play a little bit before you give him a contract? There's no way he was going to get that contract on the open market.
So did you see what his dad said or tweeted or whatever?
No, I didn't see it. I don't know.
All right. So his dad said that this was, they were showing loyalty to the team that showed loyalty to them, or the Packers showed loyalty to him, or whatever. You show loyalty to who shows loyalty to you. And he said they knew that the Packers were trying to trade back up into round 1 to draft Christian Watson that year. Couldn't get into round 1. So they couldn't do it until early round 2. And then Goody quickly moved up when he was still there. And we know because he made an aggressive move to get that pick.
Right.
Even though probably would have been okay. Probably could have got him later. Whatever. And then he said that, so basically what they're doing is making this the equivalent of like a 5th-year option for the Packers. If Christian Watson would have been a first-round pick.
But he hasn't earned it.
Last year
was his both receiving yards at 690 yards.
I know. And for the people who are
2 touchdowns.
Right. And for the people who are like, oh, well, he's this amazing athlete and he's all these things and he'll develop. He hasn't had time to develop because he hasn't been on the field playing to develop. So you're still getting like an undeveloped player 5 years in, right? That you're paying that much for. And
it's just like the Rashawn Gary contract.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's like you give, except actually it's not this bad because Rashawn Gary got top of the market money almost.
Yeah,
top 5 at edge rusher in a long contract for a guy who didn't play his first 2 years and played 1 year and then got hurt and then they gave him a bunch of money. This is a guy who at least has played a little bit. He showed flashes of being a star, but he's also shown you his limitations. I mean, MVS scares me more than Christian Watson. If I was a defensive coordinator, I'd be more worried about MVS than Christian Watson. Because MVS has dropped way less passes and is just as fast, if not faster. and can do all the things Christian Watson can do.
He changed his direction better, and he's better after the catch too, for sure.
It's just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to, it just when I saw that today, I thought it was a joke. I was like, because you and Rick and Mo were like sending messages back, and I'm like, what is this crap? What is this?
13.25 million.
So you're telling me a guy who's not even he's on the PUP list, they just gave an extra year for what? You don't even know if he's going to come back and play. Right.
Because Goody was so worried that he's so right. If he comes out and balls out, that then he'll be so much more expensive after this year.
Well, if he comes back and earns that, he's going to be way more expensive after this year. And then you're going to pay him?
Well, no.
Guess what? Guess what happens? If Christian Watson comes back this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he dominates. Let's say he gets 47 catches for 900 yards and like 7 touchdowns in half a year, which would be super crazy. Like he'd have so many bombs that went for touchdowns. You know what he's going to say? Hey, I'm not going to play on that 13 million contract. I am a stud. Give me an extension, rip that up and give me a $35 million a year contract, a wide receiver. And if he doesn't come out and play well this year, then we're paying a guy $13 million next year for doing nothing. It's dumb either way. At least wait to see what he's going to do. If he comes out and plays great right now, you're going to have to pay him anyways.
Well,
my only thinking is that maybe that's what they're thinking, is they're giving this extension now. He feels comfortable. He comes out and maybe he's going to play great. And then they're going to rip it up and give him a longer contract in the offseason before the next season starts, right? Because he'll be still playing on a 1-year deal then. And they don't want that. But it's just, I don't know.
His dad said he loves Green Bay. He's enamored with the Packers and all that stuff.
He's a great kid. He's a
great dude. He is.
I like him. I like the guy.
I know. Me too. And they do say that he's a good blocker. And he is. And he doesn't whine and complain when he doesn't get the ball thrown to him forever. And he is fast and he plays an important role in stretching the defense. All that is true. All of it is true. But it is very perplexing because I don't know. And I get Romeo had his thing, some weird stuff last year for a little bit, but that dude has shown you so much over 3 and a little bit of years here compared to like any of the other guys. Like he's shown you, okay, fine. Like he can get deep if he needs to. He's fast enough. He's not super fast, but he's fast enough. He's big enough. He attacks the football, always catches with his hands. I mean, Jaden Reed, his touchdown. He almost dropped it because he let it get to his face. He was like trying to catch it with his face. Like Romeo Doubs just gets his hands out there and snatches the ball.
And he watched that ball come in a long time. I was surprised the defensive back didn't turn around and look for it and knock it down. Because Reed was like this the whole time, waiting for it to come. And I was like, oh my God, that corner is going to figure it out that the ball's coming.
Well, they had such a good pick play there that it worked out. He got really wide open.
He didn't touch him.
I know he didn't. It was a great play by,
and then just stood there and did nothing. Yeah. So it's funny, but
that was a great Wicks had a good game too. I know he didn't have too many catches, but he did good.
This is my concern.
Okay.
I think it's clear that we have guys on the team that are studs, right?
Okay. Who are studs?
Well, I mean, as far as receivers and stuff, Tucker Kraft, right? He gets a touchdown catch, never hear from him again. 2
catches, 16 yards.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
I think they need to stop it with this. Like I actually think Romeo Doubs is not that great. Okay.
He only had 2 catches too.
I know, but he had a big bomb catch or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I would rather see, I miss the days when we had, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver, even Devontae. Devontae was extreme, but where you had a guy who's going to get 9 catches and he was a dominant player. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of this, maybe I'll throw it to this guy, or maybe I'll run a play for this guy, or nobody knows if they're going to get the ball. Nobody knows what routes we're running. or not what routes are running, but like if they run a route that's gonna, I mean, the touchdown to Reed was definitely just a played call to Reed. Wicks sets the pick, and it's touchdown.
Right.
The touchdown to Kraft was a little bit different, where they played split safeties, and Kraft kind of adjusted his route a little bit, and then Jordan Love threw a freaking laser beam, and then Tucker Kraft grabbed it and made the catch. But I think that there's guys who can do more with the ball in their hands. Tucker Kraft, Wicks, guys like that. I would rather see them get more targets and Matthew Golden, for instance, more targets and more use than guys like Jaden Reed, who are showing bobble hands, and Romeo Dobbs, who's great at catching the ball, but he kind of catches it and then he's done, right? He catches it and he goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of the passes are bad, but still,
he's got to adjust to him a lot. He's not going
to
get away from him a lot. Yeah,
he's not going to make a play. You don't see like the Jennings and maybe that's also because we don't have Aaron Rodgers, who throws a perfect pass that looks like a handoff and the guy catches it and then can just keep going, right? We don't have that anymore. We have Jordan Love.
Yep.
And maybe these guys could be that if they had a quarterback who wasn't as wishy-washy as Love is at times. Sometimes he looks great. Sometimes he's pretty bad. And so I don't know. But what I do know is this committee crap sounds like a good idea when you're winning. And everything seems to be, 10 guys caught the ball. There's that play where Chris Brooks catches it on 3rd down and 3, or maybe didn't catch. I don't even know what was going on in that play. Where Aiden Hutchinson's lined up a defensive end, and Tucker Kraft just ignores him and goes out in a route. And then Jordan Love comes off a play action handoff, and Aiden Hutchinson's in his face, and he's just like, oh, crap. And then he just chucks it off his back foot over to Chris Brooks in the flat, and it's a terrible pass. And even if Chris Brooks does catch it, what's he going to do with it?
Right.
He doesn't have an agility. He's not going to catch it and then go upfield. Like, what are we doing? Why do you leave Aiden Hutchinson unblocked on a play action pass in the red zone? Like, it's dumb.
Yeah.
you thought he was going to get fooled by the great play action of Jordan Love? He ain't Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Let's go back.
Action ability there.
Let's go back to your statement, because I'm getting a little confused here. What? So you're telling me after all we've talked about, when all the times where they're like, Devontae, 1 million targets and nobody else all these targets. So you're telling me you still want to see like a guy, one individual get the majority of targets, or get a bunch of
one individual.
Okay.
I want to see if you have a guy who you know is the guy, or 2 guys, or 3 guys, right?
Okay.
Those guys get the ball because they're going to make plays. Jordy Nelson didn't have freaking 60, whatever, how many touchdowns, because he wasn't getting the ball thrown to him only 3 times a game. Greg Jennings didn't freaking dominate because he was getting the ball thrown to him 3 times a game. These guys need to cook. And if you're telling me, okay, what you're telling me is this: none of these guys are worth anything then. If you're just going to throw 2 passes here and 3 passes there and 2 passes to this guy and 3 passes to this guy. When you have a guy like Tucker Kraft who can make guys miss, he can break tackles, he can get downfield. He had the highest yards after the catch last year at tight end, and it was like in the top 5 for any receiver, yards after the catch. And we only throw it to him in the first quarter and then never again?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
And especially if they're saying that all these guys, everybody says, the Packers have a bunch of number 2 receivers. Okay. Then why are we throwing it to them? Don't throw to your number 2 receivers. Throw to your number 1 tight end. That's all I'm saying. Does George Kittle gets the ball a bunch. Travis Kelce gets the ball a bunch because they're the best receiver, the guy who can make the most on there. Maybe not Kelce anymore. He's old. But they can do something with the ball better than any of the receivers on the team. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the quarterback's in trouble, throw to the tight end. Tucker Kraft is the most athletically gifted tight end we've ever had. As far as being able to do something with the ball when it's in his hands. Other guys, Chewy, Bubba Franks, they fall on their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then guys like Fatty Keith, who could catch the ball downfield and run fast, but he was in his older age at the time when we got him. Jackie Harris was a downfield threat, but he wasn't a blocker. Frickin' Jermichael Finley couldn't block anybody. He just ran downfield and caught passes deep and made great catches, and that's great. But even that team, Jermichael Finley got the ball a bunch.
Yeah.
He got 3 or 4 balls thrown to him, even though we had Greg Jennings and Donald Driver on the team and Jordy Nelson on the team and James Jones on the team.
Well, let me give you a couple of things for context here, okay? Because this has changed, and this is part of the current NFL game. And Nick and I were talking about this too, but I even said something. I mean, the Packers only ran 47 offensive plays.
I know.
47 total plays. The Lions had 65, which is still. Do you remember the old days when McCarthy would try to get to 90 plays? Remember? No. 90 plays. That was their target back some years, where he wanted to get 90 plays. And so a couple of things have happened in the NFL, but like 47 is so super low. Okay, 19 rushes to Josh Jacobs.
That's too many.
I mean, 22 passing attempts. Okay. I mean, Jordan Love ran 3 times, so you get a couple more, maybe drop back like 25 times. Okay. But that's not going to get you a whole lot. I mean, a couple of catches for a bunch of guys. Yeah, that's good. The other thing that is fixed in there, not just so much fewer plays, is that the Packers switched up a lot of their personnel groups. They went a lot of 3 tight ends. And then all of a sudden, when they come back with receivers, all of a sudden, Matthew Golden was in there, and Dontavian Wicks was in there, or they're switching in other receivers all the time. It's weird. Like
they've done that.
So you can't get you can't get like featured guys, or you can't get like 7 targets to a guy because they switch up the personnel groups so much, and not just the personnel groups, but the actual players in these different groups. So like I think Romeo Doubs is on the field the majority of the time. I didn't check the snap count for him, but even so, like, all of a sudden Wicks is there, all of a sudden Reed's out there, and all of a sudden Williams is in there, and Matthew Golden didn't get nearly enough snaps. And I'm like, what's going on here? Now and Christian Watson comes back. Then what happens to this wide receiver distribution of snaps then? Like, it seems kind of crazy to me. So both those things don't make what you want very feasible of happening. So I don't know what the fix is. There is one fix. Remember also how teams used to not putz around and actually get on the ball and run some plays and get a little hurried up once in a while? That was kind of nice. The Packers never do it. They huddle up. They freaking take their 20-worded play in the huddle. They get to the line of scrimmage. They putz around. They snap the ball as the play clock's running down. So you don't get many plays in when you're operating that way offensively, and the clock just keeps running and running and running.
I just think it's interesting that really since Devontae's been gone, they don't let anybody get like into a rhythm. You know what I mean? The only guy they let get into a rhythm is Josh Jacobs, and they never let Aaron Jones do that. There'd be whole drives where he wasn't out there for reasons nobody knows. Same thing the Vikings do now, but I mean, whatever. Jordan, whatever his name is, Mason or whatever the hell his name is, had a pretty good game for the Vikings last Monday night. But like, I really wish they would just be like, okay, like every other position, this guy's the starter. He plays. You don't see Edgerrin Cooper coming off the field anymore. You don't see McKinney coming off the field. You don't see, Zach Tom unless he gets hurt. And yeah, they do the switcheroo with the interior guys. Like I know Sean Ryan was getting switched out for guys in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because he's playing great, and just because they just don't want to pay him.
Yeah, that was interesting too. That I was going to ask you about that too. I think we should.
It's dumb. He played great. I've seen multiple plays where he's like doing really good stuff out there. I don't understand it. They just don't want to pay him. That's all it is. They're trying to make somebody else take the spot. And I think that's the reason with these receivers. They don't want to pay any of them. So they're like, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll just, who Make them all do stuff, and they all get to play freaking 20 plays a game or whatever, and then maybe they'll get 2 balls thrown to them, and there you go. And they need to just say, who is the best player? Who is the guy who on every play is going to get open? If it's Romeo Doubs, then he's the guy. And then get him out there on every play. When you have 2 tight ends and 2 running backs and a wide receiver, and it's not Romeo Doubs, if he's your number 1 receiver, that's a problem. It was Matthew Golden for some reason. He was out there with three tight ends and Matthew Golden. Like, that's what they do. They have these packages, and this is the receiver that's going to play in that package.
Right.
So even though Romeo Doubs is having a good game, because they call that formation, he's not out there. Matthew Golden is, or whoever it is going to be out there. There was a play, as a matter of fact, that play that was passed to Chris Brooks, because I was just looking at it on NFL Plus just now, because it was a second down play, actually, on that where they didn't block Aiden Hutchinson. It was really stupid. Malik Heath was in the game, playing wide receiver.
He was in there too. I forgot. Yeah.
Why? If it's obvious he is not a top 2 receiver on the team, and you have 2 backs on the field and Tucker Kraft, why the fuck is Malik Heath on the field? I love Malik Heath. He's a nice guy.
Elite.
But he's not a top even 4 receiver on the team right now. Much less you just paid a guy who's not even healthy. So Malik Heath shouldn't be on the field. Malik Heath should only get on the field if guys are hurt. He should be playing special teams, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Or maybe if you have like goal line, because he's the biggest receiver and he's a great blocker, then have him out there. And I understand you're in the red zone, blah, blah, blah. Maybe if you have him out there, you're going to think that you're going to fool the defense into thinking that it's a running play because he's out there. Why? Put your best players out there. Don't just... And if you draft the first round wide receiver, get him on the fucking field so we can see what he can do. What are we doing?
I was disappointed by how little action Golden got. I was like, what? I don't know. I mean, I like the way Wicks played. I'm glad he kind of bounced back and looked more confident. Jaden Reed still scares me the way he catches. Or tries to catch the ball.
No other team does this, dude. No other team does this. Every other team in the NFL has a number 1, has a number 2, has a number 3. Maybe they got a slot gadget guy. Maybe they got the deep threat, right? And those are your 3rd and 4th guys who will get in the game and at a certain time and do certain things. But you have a 1 and a 2 who play the majority of snaps, and they don't come off the field unless they're tired or hurt. And the Packers just switch guys based on formation. You have a formation with only 1 receiver, and it's Dontavian Wicks out there instead of Romeo Doubs, who's the number 1 receiver at this point. And I'm not saying Dontavian. I've always said Dontavian Wicks is my favorite guy on the team at wide receiver right now, or it was last year, even though he dropped 1,000 balls because of his run after the catch and his ability to get open. He's awesome at getting open, and if he could just catch the damn ball, he's also great after the catch. He has the potential to be an awesome possession receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has he would be a perfect number 1 possession receiver. Perfect.
Yeah.
But to give him that chance, you have to get him on the field then. And they need to make a hierarchy. This is the number 1. He plays 80% of the snaps. Number 2, he plays 60% of the snaps. Number 3 plays 30%. And in special situations, number 4 plays hardly at all unless we need him because somebody got tired. Period.
We were talking about that, Lee. Ben was just mostly talking about how also it seems with all the switching and all the playing and all this different guys like getting limited snaps, how the Packers don't really know what's going on. Like their team doesn't have the identity. The players can't get in a rhythm. We as fans can't even evaluate like who are the best guys to have out there, I guess. Cause
I don't know.
You would think the coaches should know, right? It's weird. But other than we know that Tucker Kraft could be dominant if they give him the ball more, but they
don't pass to him.
They don't do it. It's so weird. It's like,
is it Jordan Love who's not passing to him? Maybe,
especially when you're struggling, like they were in the third quarter. Why won't you just make an easy pass to Tucker Kraft and let him run? Let him get a first down.
Tight end screen or
something.
Have him go out in the freaking, have a receiver come across, have him going out and then come back and follow. And then it clears out the middle of the defense. And here's Tucker Kraft in the middle of the defense. Like have him do like an up and out and then back. And as he goes out, the receiver comes around and then he comes and follows him around. Boom. Because if the corner is coming from the backside, he's too small. Tucker's big body's going to shield him off. And the linebacker's going to have to go, if it's a zone, linebacker's going to have to go with the receiver coming across the middle. It's perfect. You get 4 yards. He breaks a tackle. He maybe gets a first down. Like, what are we doing? Watch this. Watch when you see George Kittle and these other receivers, other tight ends in the league get freaking really good passes and plays for him. And Tucker Kraft doesn't get jack shit. And he's freaking awesome. Can we do something?
We called for it last year, and it was all out there for him last year. He proved it last year that he should be the guy. He should be one of the go-to featured guys on the offense, but he's not, or still not for some reason. So here's how it stood receiving, right? Jordan Love was 16 to 22 for the 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Aaron Rodgers would say that's a great game, by the way. Romeo Doubs, 2 catches. Jaden Reed, 3. Dontavian Wicks, 2. Tucker Kraft, 2. Matthew Golden, 2. Josh Jacobs, 1. Musgrave, 1. Chris Brooks, 1. John Fitzpatrick, we don't know why, but 1. And Savion Williams, not sure why, but 1.
Well, that was a cheapy, actually running play that he.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I do want to say, I know Aaron Rodgers had his 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, one of his touchdowns was
one of them. He jumped back quick. I think that was supposed to be handoff. He quickly jumped backwards so he could like shovel it forward to get credit for the touchdown pass right there.
Smart.
Yeah,
classic Aaron Rodgers.
All right, so those are some of the things. All right, we harped on the offense. Was there something else you want to say before we go to the good side and the defense and talk about some good things?
We were talking about the defense.
We're not done with it yet. We got to. I got to.
I would just. Something. The only other thing I could say is.
Yeah.
I don't get. I'm not a. I don't know. Josh Jacobs.
You just got to keep feeding him, and then eventually he's soft.
He's just not.
He wears down that defense.
There's plays where he doesn't actually like. I know they showed one shot from the back where he should have as he saw everything congesting over here, he should have jumped it back to the outside, like Aaron Jones would have done a million times and gotten like a 7-yard carry or better. And Josh Jacobs just kind of like tries to plow into the big sloppy mess. And I'm like, what are we doing? There's nothing there. It's a big sloppy mess. And on the backside, there's nothing. If you cut back and you see a linebacker, maybe you can break that tackle or juke him or something. Like linebackers are not as quick, right? I don't know. He just, I don't think he sees the field all that well. He only gets big runs when he can break tackles. If the blocking's there for him, and everybody's like, oh, he's so hard. Oh, he's such a tough guy. And he is. But he just kind of runs the play and he doesn't like look at what's in front of him. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I mean, the best thing you can say about him is that he's durable. And that's pretty much it, right? Okay. Like he's durable. He'll be there for you.
2 yards a carry or something, 3 yards a carry in this game.
It was bad until later. Like it was really bad for quite a while. It ended up being 3.5 yards per carry, but still not very good. And
it wasn't like the Jahmyr Gibbs problems that he was having, where Packers were just beating the crap out of the Lions' offensive line, and they were like, as soon as Gibbs gives a guy in his face, like immediately. It wasn't that at all. It was just Josh Jacobs. There was no holes. I'm not going to lie. But there was opportunity for him to see that there was a problem and then get out of it, and he would just kind of just run into the mess. And you're like, dude, stop doing that.
And there were a couple of times like that too that I remember just off the top of my head from the game where he's like he did a lot of quick jump cuts initially, and instead of like you said, it was kind of like there's a little bit of line surge, there's a little bit of movement. You know, the Packers are probably moving him like a yard or two upfield, and instead of trying to like avoid that cluster, he'd jump cut right into it, and you're just like, what? Why? Like, I mean, I know you like to be physical and stuff, but the optimal situation is you don't get tackled right away. Like you avoid contact for as long as you can. And then if you want to run over some small dude later, go for it. But, and he was just like jumping into contact. And it was kind of like, okay, that's not quite there. Hopefully that gets better. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
he's never going to be a dynamic back. He's never going to be a dynamic back. We know that.
Then why did we pay him all that money and let Aaron Jones go?
Because he was
what? Yeah, there is no freaking reason why. Great, Jason.
And he's durable. He doesn't get hurt.
So what? We just paid a guy who's hurt all the time $13 million for no reason too.
That's why we got to pay some guys that don't get hurt, because we pay a lot of guys that get hurt.
Whatever. Okay, move on. We're moving on. That's all I was gonna say. I'm over Josh Jacobs. I was over him last year too. I'm really over him after this last game.
The other thing with the offense is the offensive line, and we didn't talk. We kind of skimmed it, but
I said they played great.
And I know that they said that they were going to do some. They wanted to get Morgan some work, and they wanted to rotate some guys in. But I was like, I'm watching the game, and I saw Sean Ryan doing well, and then I'm like, oh crap, did he get hurt and I missed it? Oh no. All of a sudden Jordan Morgan's playing right guard. Like what? Why?
He's a tackle. What? Stop it.
And then
he's built like a tackle. It makes no sense.
And then when Zach Tom gets hurt, and you've talked about Jordan Morgan almost starting at left tackle and knocking Rasheed Walker out of left tackle, they bring in Kennard to play right tackle, and then Jordan. Good, he did. I was impressed. He plays right tackle, and Jordan Morgan's playing guard. What are we?
I don't know.
It's hard to describe. It's hard to like formulate words that make sense.
You just got Chris Berman. That sounds.
Was that what it was? Okay. He still tries to do his funny stuff like fast.
I didn't watch
He's so old now.
At halftime in the Vikings game, I just I went and did something else.
You got to watch it though, huh? Prime?
I watch it on my phone. I'm going to watch tomorrow night's game on Prime, yeah.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's right, on your phone. ABC.
You get to watch Ryan Fitzpatrick in the pregame and Richard Sherman.
Fitzy? I'm going to be gone for pregame because Sophia's got a volleyball game in Wanakee.
That's what we have to get into.
What?
Sidebar. Last week we talked about Sophia when she was younger.
Yep.
Having Adam Sandler tendencies, you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, where did they get those from? Where could you possibly gotten those from?
I don't know.
I'll tell you. Guess whose birthday it was yesterday?
Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Really?
Adam Sandler and your daughter, Sophia, have the exact same birthday, and that's why she has got Adam Sandler tendencies. It's in the stars. It's the whole, she's the same, whatever that is. Libra or Virgo, whatever.
I'll have to tell her that. I don't think she knew. I certainly didn't know.
He turned 59 yesterday.
59. Oh my God. Why are we? How come we're not getting older?
I am. The last couple of years is definitely. I'm like, wow, I look a lot worse.
Yeah, me too. I know it's bad. Anyway, enjoy those young years while you got them, Lee.
Anyways.
How old is Lee's kid now? Anyway, I don't know. You don't have to tell us, but hope things are going well with his kid. Remember he had the kid last year?
Yeah. Can't be that. That's like a year old.
Right. So he's got to be doing good. Sleeping well. Lee gets plenty of naps and sleep, and then gets to watch football. All right. So that was the offense. Defense, my guy Coop was running around. Do we call him Edge or do we call him Coop? I don't know. Some people call him Edge. Some people call him Coop. It's kind of weird to me. I think Edge is cooler, but
Edge is way cooler.
But I think some people like calling him Coop.
Edge is cooler.
Anyway, 12 tackles in the game, flying around, making plays, doing what he does. I liked it. I didn't realize Bullard was in on so many tackles. That is one thing. I think this number of tackles really speaks to what Jeff Hafley was talking about. So many guys flying to the ball.
Well, the thing was, there was a lot of coverage, like 7-man coverage. Like I said, there was not much blitzing.
A lot of zone too, right?
A lot of zone coverage and only sending 3 or 4 guys. Like he didn't send 5 guys. So there was like 7 guys. So Goff had to dump it off so many times. That's how Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 catches for 31 yards or whatever. It was just the worst for the least amount of yards for the most amount of catches in NFL history was 10 yards, 31 yards, or 10 catches, 31 yards. And it was because Packers were playing off and attacking, covering, taking away stuff. And then the pressure got there fast and Goff had to get rid of the ball. So it was a really good combination of not having to blitz, right? Using the 4-man pressure with stunts and stuff like that. And then the defense playing off and zone in the back end, taking away Goff's good, like deep, because the Lions usually like the run plays where all of a sudden here comes, they always like to flood one side of the field, right? You end up having a guy in the flat, and then you got the tight end, and then you got a receiver going over the top, and then you only got, and you play a zone over there. Usually in the past, like last year, the Packers would have to send the guys, they had to blitz guys, which only put 6 guys in coverage. So you'd have 3 guys deep and 3 guys in the middle covering. And then the Lions would flood one side of the field, and there'd only be 2 guys over there to have to cover 3 guys, right? Well, in this case, if you only send 4, now you got 3 guys deep and 4 guys down in like the intermediate zone. So if a tight end comes across the field, now that linebacker can now go with him and cover him, and the corner can stay and cover the flat, and the safety can cover the deep receiver if they try to run that crap. So that takes that away. Plus the defensive pressure was there, so Goff had to dump it off to the quick checkdowns, which was usually Gibbs or Montgomery or whoever it was at the time. And then the 4 guys who were playing that closer zone, because there's 4 of them instead of just 3, they don't have as far to go, right? Like if you have 3 guys, then that middle linebacker has to go all the way over here to try to cover or so forth, right? If there's 4 of them, they don't have as far to go. And they can watch the ball. And as soon as the ball is passed, they're attacking and making the tackle. And that's why it worked so great. So because we didn't have to blitz, we didn't have to send 5 guys, we didn't have to do crazy stuff because we have Micah Parsons out there. And so it scared everybody. And Hafley would just show like 6 guys on the line, and they just drop guys back and only send 4. And then Goff would go back and be like, oh, crap, now he's covered. Oh, crap, Lucas Van Ness is in the way. Shit. And then, boom, pressure in his face, dump it off to Gibbs. And then here comes freaking Valentine trying to tackle him. And then he misses, but then Lucas Van Ness is over there to help clean it up the mess, right? Because guys are flowing and attacking and going to the ball, like Jeff Hafley said. So that's why we did it, man. That's why I had so many tackles and tackles for loss and pressures and sacks and all kinds of good stuff.
2 quick things. I do like, if you're dropping one of those guys back, I do like Lucas Van Ness being the guy because he's pretty fast. He's pretty good at changing direction, and he's really freaking tall and long. So he can get in the way of stuff. It's like way more valuable than, dropping Gary back or whatever. Like it makes way more sense to have him do those dropouts in the fire zones. The other thing is, you mentioned Carrington Valentine, and I noted this during the game. I know he didn't make that many tackles, and not as good at tackling as Keyshawn and all that. I get it. But there were a number of plays, at least a handful of plays to his side running plays or like out quick passes where, it was in the flat or whatever it was. I can't recall exactly, but they were like plays basically to the outside, right to his side of the line of scrimmage. And he came flying up and did exactly what he should do, which is attack the play, but attack it to the outside to force the player back inside. So if you miss the tackle, you're forcing them back inside. And he did that. He did that every time. So even though he missed some tackles, he forced it back inside, and there were guys to tackle the running back or the wide receiver at that point. And that's what you need to do. That's how you got to play it. Like, yeah, it'd be great if he made all the tackles, but it's a hell of a lot better seeing that attack and force him back inside like your discipline than some of the other games I watched where guys got caught inside and the guys got to the outside and then it was a big gain. Or guys like, Jair and Eric Stokes and other people who used to just stand like 5 yards behind the line, 5 yards upfield and stand there getting blocked and not attacking the play. Yeah, so even though Carrington Valentine, didn't get a bunch of tackles and missed a few, like he did the right thing. And I was impressed by that. And that's helpful. It's helpful to your run defense. Like this is the annoying thing about when people talk about cornerbacks and why they get paid and all that stuff. They talk about, they don't get paid to tackle. They get paid to cover and blah, 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 blah. But if your corners, especially your corners, because the safeties in a lot of cases have to be part of the run defense. But if your corners come up and be part of the run defense, like that makes a huge difference in your ability to stop the run, because most guys who are trying to block them are wide receivers, and most wide receivers are not very good at blocking. So if you just come up and attack the play and the corners help, that helps your run defense. It helps it by like times 10, right? And the teams that don't, the teams for the corners that aren't aggressive and don't help in the run game, those teams have a lot harder time stopping the run. But if your corners come up and attack and make plays and help in run support, it's super valuable. So that's why I don't understand why it's not a valued trait or as valued trait as it should be, because it is instrumental in having a good run defense. If the corners support the run, your run defense is going to be much better than if they don't. It blows my mind. I mean, I think the smart coaches get it, but I don't think much of the league values it, which is stupid.
The other thing, real quick on run defense, if you go and watch the O-line committee video, like I was talking about earlier about the Micah Parsons stuff, there's a play where it's a running play, and he's got Penei Sewell on him, and he holds up against him, and he just like stands there and holds him, and then at the last minute just takes him and freaking overpowers him and chucks him to the ground. Now, it's not the running back. Somebody else made a tackle, but it was like a tackle for a loss. And it was ran to his side, and he held up his ground against Penei Sewell and then freaking threw him to the ground like later on. And it's like, that's way different than when we watch Zadarius Smith and a wide receiver, and he'd stand there and pretend like he's being blocked by a wide receiver and then not make a play on the ball, right?
Yeah.
This guy's holding his edge against one of the best right tackles in the NFL, and he's not as big as him, but he did all he could. And it ended up being a tackle for a loss because somebody got back there and made the play, right? And they showed it. And in the play that happened was because he stopped the run from happening. And then Gibbs, or whoever the running back was, then was trying to take it back to the inside, except Edgerrin Cooper came flying right in his face. So then he tried to go back the other way again, but there's nowhere to go because Micah didn't get beat, right? He held the spot and did everything he could. So then it ended up being a tackle for like 3-yard loss for their Lions in our red zone, right? You know, they're about to score, right? So it just shows you that hopefully Parsons is not a one-trick pony. He's not just a pressure guy who wants to, tackle the quarterback and whatever. He's also playing the run. He's doing stunts with other guys, help them get open, get their plays, and then he's getting his plays, and it's working.
I didn't even prime you for this. I didn't tell you what I wanted to use. I didn't tell you I wanted to use this clip, but it's just must be our brother synergistic connection that you just said all that stuff. It was interesting. So this was prior to the game. Micah Parsons midweek locker room interview prior to that. I want to play this thing from it because it was really interesting to me to hear him say this. And I think it was interesting to him to understand it. And I think he didn't even like to say it. Like, based on what he says, it's pretty wild. It's cool. It's like, I think Micah Parsons could be one of our guys, to be honest with you, because this is, I really found this interesting that this is what he had to say. He was talking, they're asking him a whole bunch of stuff, right? They've asked him, he's had really long locker interviews, like almost 15 minutes, to where the point is, some rep is there like, only 2 more questions. And then they ask 4 more questions. And he's like, last one, whatever, but he still hangs in there and does it. But he said this, and I was like, damn, from a guy who has had the 4-year span of what he's had, from a guy who has talked about, what he's seen these other edge rushers get paid a crap ton of money. He got paid a crap ton of money because of his edge rusher ability. This is something that I thought was pretty cool that he said.
I think on third down, I like to get to the quarterback. I think the people like that more if you get to the quarterback. I don't know why, but I think a guy who can go out there and get 13 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a PBU, that's my type of guy. And but people just like those guys who get to the quarterback, which is nothing wrong with it. I like that too, but I really like doing both, and I hope he lets me kind of do that. But I think it's hard when you got Quay and.
Yeah, I remember that when I watched that whole interview too, and that was one of the things that struck out to me was that, yeah, and the thing that's funny is you can really impact the game more in that way by getting 12 tackles and 2 tackles for loss and 2 PBUs and whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, and he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows it's more fun doing that because when you're a pass rusher, like that's the other thing that's interesting. It's almost like, because think about it, 12 and a half sacks a year is considered great. Only two players in NFL history have had 12 and a half sacks their first 4 years, at least 12 and a half sacks every year in their first 4 years. Reggie White and Micah Parsons. Only 2 players.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think of it like that, you're like, wait a minute, it's 16 games, 12 and a half sacks. So not even 1 sack a game is considered all worldly.
Right.
Yet a linebacker could have 13 tackles, 2 pass breakups, a fumble caused, and 2 tackles for loss, and nobody talks about it.
Right. They could have 150 tackles and and then
it's crazy. And
10 passes defended, and
so think of how much more, like, and I can understand in his case too, because he's going to get double teamed, he's going to get chipped, all these things where he's not even in the play. But when you play linebacker and you're off that line of scrimmage, you and you're quick, you can probably get past the block, right? When you're on the line of scrimmage, you don't have much room to get around guys. It's not very often that you can not get touched. You're going to get touched, and it's going to slow you down. But if you're playing off-ball linebacker, you can usually, if you're quick enough, get around guys, cause a guy to miss, dip and move and whatever to get to the play and make an impact. And a guy with his speed and size and, all that sort of stuff can probably make a huge impact playing linebacker, which is what he played in college.
Mm-hmm.
And why he probably would rather enjoy that than having to go up. You play 35 snaps at pass rusher and you get 1 sack and 2 pressures or 3 pressures. Everybody thinks that's a great game, but you had, 30 plays where you got double team, chip, nothing. You weren't even part of the play. You didn't even do anything. Like, how fun is that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably what he's thinking. He's like, I know everybody loves this stuff. All the fans think it's great.
I just thought it was hilarious. Yeah.
But I'd rather be out there making plays everywhere. That's pretty much what he said. He's like, I know the fans like it. I'm telling you, it's not as fun as the player. Because you're working your butt off. And by the time you beat the guy in front of you, the ball's gone. More than 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So I understand his thinking 100%. And I think I also hope Hafley uses him in that way.
Me too.
Like throughout the year.
Right.
Like I would like to see him be the guy who drops back sometimes.
Yeah. Once he understands the defense more and the responsibilities and all that, I'd love to see him sometimes in certain situations lined up as a linebacker, off-ball linebacker. And especially if you're going to tell me that this was not some aberration. Rashawn Gary, sack and a half, and Lucas Van Ness flying around. And
he got a Reggie White half sack.
How did he get when I saw the end of the game,
Lucas
I was like,
Van Ness,
sack and a half?
Lucas Van Ness made that sack.
That's what I thought.
And then Gary flopped on him at the end, and then they called it a half sack for Gary. That was the Reggie White sack fund, half a sack fund that Keith McKenzie would have way more sacks. Same thing happened there. I don't know why Gary got a half sack on that. Never should have. It should have been LVN's only sack for him.
He only had half a sack then? That's BS.
Yes.
When they said after the game that Gary had a sack and a half, I was like, what? Where did he get the sack and a half?
Yeah. It was because
I know he had the one that he should have tackled Jared Goff in the end zone and brought him back and avoided the safety.
What an idiot. He's like, here, how about if I pull you back in the field of play? No, you jump on him and then you force him back into the freaking make the officials have to make a decision. But when you pull him back in, then they're just like, oh, well, he pulled him back in. So I guess it's at the 1 yard line. What a dingus.
Devontae Wyatt, 1 sack, though, did some good stuff. Evan Williams' interception was sweet and ridiculous and exactly what you want to see people do. Whereas if the pass rush is going to get there, attack the play and go for it. He did it.
Well, he didn't know. After the game, they asked him, they're like, hey, did you see who got that pressure on your interception? He's like, no, I just saw the ball coming out and went for it.
Damn, I thought he was just like, hey, I'm going for it because,
he didn't. So he didn't. He didn't move because he saw that Parsons beat the guy in front of him. He moved because he saw Goff throwing the ball there.
Got it.
So he actually moved after we probably assumed he did. But
it's a great catch.
And when you watch it back, Quay Walker's standing there and he doesn't move an inch.
Yep.
But Evan Williams, who's behind him, jumped and ran and made the interception.
It's 33, man.
And that's why Quay Walker didn't get his extension. No offense to Quay Walker, but you got to read and react. You got to read the pass.
He had 9 tackles somehow, so still
because
productive game for him.
No, and I don't remember any of them. That's the crazy part.
Keyshawn 6 tackles, by the way.
I don't remember any of those either.
I do. He came up and made some plays sometimes when dudes were putzing around. Like, he didn't mess around. I love that about Keyshawn. It's interesting. The guy is not big. He's not big. They say 200 pounds here. I don't believe it. He's more like 190. He's basically the same size as Jair, but he plays like a way different. And I love it.
So
I hope he has a great year.
Are you going to do your jaw? Ooh la la, ha ha.
Well, I don't need to say.
I got to get going here pretty soon.
I don't need to say much other than, like people praising Matt LaFleur after this game, like what a great coach he is and all that sort of stuff. I think really this game was won by the defense, of course. Mm-hmm. And I think it showed how good a coach Jeff Hafley is, being able to utilize the players that he currently has. And I also think what we said in the opening of the show is by dumping out Jair Alexander, by dumping out Kenny Clark, even though Kenny Clark's a good guy, Jair not, but whatever. You had, in Jair's case, you had corners who attacked and tackled or attacked plays and played their discipline and helped support the run. And without Kenny Clark, you had interior guys who ran around and made plays in spots and pursued where you would have never seen Kenny Clark in those clips on the screen. Never. Because he wouldn't get there.
Well, whenever he beats a guy and gets to the backfield, he just totally whiffs on the running back, and you know what I mean? And then he just stands there and runs really slow.
And he has no burst. Like Devontae Wyatt has burst. Like he's quick. He can get going fast. And that's like on the inside, that's everything. You don't always have to be fast, but like you got to be quick. And then if you're quick and you can pursue, like, damn, that's a lethal combination. And that's why I hope Devontae Wyatt's going to have a monster year. He's got to, right? Like, this is his one chance. He'll have a chance to get one contract after this.
Yeah, because he's 28 already.
And then he's going to be done. Like, he'll be out of the league.
Yep.
So he's got to go for it now. He's got to really prove it this year. I'm hoping that he understands that too. He plays his tail off and he becomes like a dominant player because he's got skills. Like, he's got things that very few guys on the interior have. He's not quite as big as some of the other dudes, but man, is he fast and quick and good with his hands. Pass rush, can be disruptive in the run. Like, Devontae Wyatt could be a monster this year and a huge part of why the Packers' run defense is better than a lot of people thought. And as far as Jair, I mean, I don't know if anybody watched it, but come on. Hilarious. Like, the comments by Ravens fans after, there were a couple in there like, oh, he just came back too soon. He wasn't ready. But all I'm saying is he sat out forever with an injury for most of camp. But then he was hyping it up on social media. I'm back. I'll be back. I'm ready. He gets out there. It's what I said when the Ravens signed him. He does not fit the Ravens culture. He does not fit the Ravens defensive identity. The Ravens are a physical, fast, attacking team. He is none of those things. And you had plays, like I was watching a lot of the game, you had plays where like Hamilton and some of these other dudes are like flying up there and making physical, crazy plays and tackles. And then Jair is doing what Jair does. He's running around, backing off, not in on the tackles, standing there afterwards. And it was really funny because people were talking about him. They're talking about him on the broadcast. Oh, well, with him here, and you put him with these guys and this guy, and wow, this could be such an amazing defense. And Josh Allen is often a dum-dum. We know that. But he wasn't a dum-dum when it mattered. The Bills had nothing going. And then late in the first half, Josh Allen on 4th down throws it up, lobs it up to the guy Jair is supposed to cover late in the second quarter. And Jair, of course, cannot locate the ball like he never could.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up running into the guy, grabbing him, of course, and pulling him, and gets a defensive pass interference for a first down. And that's the reason the Bills got points before the end of the first half, because Jair can't locate the freaking ball. And he wasn't that close to the receiver to begin with. Then the last drive of the game, when the Bills had this crazy comeback, because like 25,000 people left the stadium. Nobody thought the Bills were going to come back. They looked like they were getting dominated the whole game. The last drive, when they had to have it, Josh Allen throws down. He throws on the left sideline against Jair for like a 20-yard gain. And then he goes over the middle to a guy over Jair. And Jair, stupidly, the one time he makes a tackle is this time. Whereas if you let the guy score, they might have a chance to get the ball and maybe do something coming back. But it allowed the Bills to get like at the 10-yard line and set up and bleed all the time away and do a walk-off field goal. And that Josh Allen's a dum-dum, but he ain't that dumb because he know who to target. He went after the 2-time All-Pro Jair Alexander. Amazing. Oh, my God, he's so great. Yeah. Yeah, Josh Allen and the rest of the league knows he ain't that great. And he doesn't fit the Ravens like all the other guys play. Like Roquan Smith, or do they have Roquan Smith, or do they have somebody other Smith?
I don't know.
Smith, right? Their whole defense is super physical and fast, and he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. And
you know what else? This is a lot of. I wonder how much the Steelers.
That was an insane game to watch. Most people thought the Bills
I didn't see it.
It was crazy to watch, but cool.
I was just going to bring up Jalen Ramsey, who I don't know how much money the Steelers paid him, but on the last play of the game, the last play that mattered, when Garrett Wilson catches a pass on him and he just freaking blows the snot out of him and freaking causes the incompletion, I was like, damn, there's a veteran corner who has been around a long time and still plays like a badass. And then you got Jair, who's just a punk ass bitch. That's just the truth. The way it has always been and the way he is now. And one guy won the game for his team by playing aggressive and knocking the snot out of a dude. And the other guy doesn't know what the hell's going on and cost the game for his team. And there you go.
Yeah.
So I need to know.
It was hilarious to watch.
But they're both first round picks and considered two of the best corners in the league. Jair's Madden rating is still like in the 90s. I don't understand it. What is the guy proven to be a 90 in the 90s corner in the league? Nothing.
His awareness should be like the same as the Darius Smith, like 0 or
-6.
Yeah, it's so bad.
They should have negative numbers.
Anyway, I took some extra joy in watching that come true and watch it again. It was kind of hilarious. And then I also took some joy in watching the Bears-Vikings game, and the Bears were like dominating that game.
Yeah, I don't know.
And how they blew it, like how they just folded up. Like they didn't even look like the same team. I was like, what the hell is going on? You guys were kicking their butts for the 3 quarters.
It was weird.
Caleb Williams looked fast. Like he looked super fast running around.
He got out of so much trouble. I was like, what is going on? Like this guy runs around like a crazy mofo, and like why? It just then nothing would happen after. Right. Like he would run around, then
he was trying
to
throw. Yeah, he was trying to throw. I was like, run.
He needs to keep running. He can't throw. He missed a wide open freaking what's his name? DJ Moore for a touchdown. It totally overthrew him, and it was like wide open. Open. Would have been an easy.
JJ McCarthy looked really uncoordinated trying to get out of the pocket and out of traffic. He kept getting tripped up and looking weird. I was like, this guy doesn't look good. And then somehow the Vikings, were like, well, I guess the Bears are going to choke again. So we'll go win this game.
Yeah. It was weird. A lot of weird games this week.
But when you look at the NFC North, the Bears and the Vikings didn't look too good.
Nope. The Lions
got dominated by the Packers. I mean, if you're a Packer fan right now, you got to feel pretty good. You got to feel like, feeling pretty good. Lee says, long live the Bears still sucking. His biggest flaw is he can't control his own arm strength. Yeah, I was really scared watching Caleb Williams run around because he looked so fast and so athletic. I was like, damn, the Packers are going to have trouble with him containing him. But then as long as he keeps trying to throw it, we're good. You know? It's true. It's true. And McCarthy, as long as he keeps trying to run it, we're good. Because he was like tripping over stuff, and I was like, what's going on with this guy? I don't quite get it. But the Vikings have some problems on the old line. Packers look good. I like it. Tomorrow night, let's finish up. Yep. Very different game.
Oh, hold on, real quick.
Yep.
I said the score was going to be 28.
You did.
14.
I told
and
you.
it was 27-13.
I know.
So I was the only one who said a 14-point victory, and I was off by 1 point for both teams. That's pretty damn good predicting by me.
I know. I told
you. You were like, "Yo, you're gonna win by 2 touchdowns." I'm like, what? We should have won by more, if not for that freaking crazy wide receiver who caught that crazy pass. Should have never been.
That was legit. That
should have been 27-6. But
I did not
be 27-13, which actually makes me look smarter, so I'm okay.
I did not think that dude came in at all. I was like,
yeah, he got him both.
No way. I was
as long as if you count that one-handed catch as a catch, then he got his feet down, and the ball didn't move around like in his hand.
No,
he caught it, and then he did this, and then okay. So as long as if you're counting that as the catch, then it's a legit catch.
He didn't Jaden Reed that shit. He was good. Mm-hmm. He was good. I was like, damn.
Good thing he didn't play all game until the end.
Right. That dude was impressive. I was like, wow. But you're correct. I told Nick that right away too. I was like, I think Ben predicted 28-14. I'm like, damn, pretty good. So, but what you said earlier in the show was exactly right. A very different approach, very different game plan because very different quarterback. Jared Goff can't escape a wet paper bag. Jaden Daniels is, you better be not leaving openings. You better be disciplined with your rush. You better be careful about all that stuff.
Also, they got a rookie running back who's been like lights out in his first game. So he's the talk of the fantasy football right now. And that's going to be a little tricky. So it's going to be another dynamic, crazy running back. And but this time we got to worry about the dynamic, crazy quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So
running. And there were a lot in week 1. I will say this, watching a number of games, Jalen Hurts, Daniels,
Daniel Jones had 2 rushing touchdowns.
Daniel Jones, like freaking Lamar, like
even like, Justin Herbert had that scramble that would seal the game.
A bunch of dudes made their biggest damage like on third down. Mahomes too ran a bunch on third down for first downs. So the Packers got to be like, this is going to be very different. Jared Goff ain't doing that. Very different game plan. So hopefully Hafley's got to figure it out. I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I believe in Hafley.
I do too. I think that it's going to be interesting to see. I bet you they're going to have it very controlled and very like gap sound, which is going to be the opposite of what they did. Like the last time they were doing stunts and stuff and leaving big giant holes, but then getting in the backfield and messing everything up. Against Washington, I think they're going to have to play more, maybe more man coverage and maybe a little bit more like, which sounds dumb because then you're at your back to the quarterback. So maybe that's not smart. Because if he starts running, then nobody's aware where he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be weird. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, or maybe have a spy. Maybe Edgerrin Cooper is your spy. Just spying with Edgerrin Cooper the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It'll be very different to see what Hafley does, like what he chooses to do this week.
Yeah.
And he might just show us that he's a great coach still, or he might improve it even more. I don't know.
Well, he already is he'll be a head coach next year.
God dang it. That's why the Packers got to do it this year.
He'll be the Miami Dolphins head coach next year.
Oh my gosh. That's why they got to do it this year. They got to do it this year because dang it. I don't know if they're going to have much of if Hafley's gone, it's not going to be the same. That's for sure.
No.
The Lions witnessed that with their coordinators being gone. I think that definitely had an impact too.
Yeah.
As well as the other players. All right. Well, I don't know. You want to throw a score since you're so good at predicting scores for tomorrow night?
I don't really know. I don't know Washington's defense that great.
It was a pretty low scoring affair in the first week, if I'm not mistaken here.
Well, they played the Giants, who are terrible.
That's true.
Russell Wilson was their quarterback. I mean, come on.
He was really bad. And Malik
So,
Neighbors, whoo,
he was pissed.
he was hot in week 1. Just
Yeah.
look at a whole season of this stuff. It's gonna get
I'd be pissed too if my quarterback couldn't freaking hit the broadside of a barn. That's why I think I picked up Jackson Dart today in fantasy football, just because I know in 2 weeks he's gonna be starting. Because Joe Burrow freaking played like doggy doots for me last week. I still won, thank God. But
You should have picked up Danny Dimes.
I killed Joe Burrow. I killed CeeDee Lamb, had 4 drops. My fantasy football curse was in full force this week.
It's strong. And somehow you still won.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't get it. But anyway, so
you could pick up Daniel Jones though. He looked good.
no, somebody's got him already.
Oh damn. Okay.
No, but I got 4 defenses on my team, so that's why. I had 3, and I looked at it. And every one of my defenses was playing a good offense, and I was like, I am in trouble. And then I just picked up the Cardinals because they're playing New Orleans, and I was like, okay, this looks like a good matchup. I'll get some points here. Thank God I did. They did good.
Lee points out that Parsons likes to get after Daniels or something, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Cool. That's beautiful news for me.
I like it.
No, for us, everybody, Packer fans. I'll say I think on a short week, they're coming into Green Bay. Thursday night, I think the fans will be ready to go. There'll be less Washington. There's a lot of Lions fans in the last game, I guess. I think there'll be less Washington fans here. So I'm going to say
he had to make a
in his press conference. I was like, wow. I think this time let's go 26-21.
So
Closer game, but we still get the win.
Okay. I don't know about this Packers team offensively, but I don't think Washington's defense. They do still have crafty Bobby Wagner. He's still good. How is he still good? It's annoying.
He's good.
God damn, he's still good. All right, I'm gonna be right there with you. I'm gonna say Packers, but I gotta be a little different. So I'll say Packers 24, Commanders 19.
That's the same 5-point difference.
Is it the same?
You just copied me, basically. Yeah.
No, I was different.
I said 26-21. You said 24-19. It's the same damn thing. Whatever. That's fine. You're an idiot. I am too. It's fine.
I never claimed to be anything else, so it's all fine. I'm excited to see the Packers defense play again. That was fun. Did you have fun? Yeah. I think we've all been like waiting for a defense that attacked and didn't piss around. Yeah. I know there were a couple of longer drives. I know, but still, they were at least a lot of times flying around, trying to do stuff. That's what I've been calling for I don't know, 15 years or something.
Yeah. It was good, but it's going to be a totally different game. So we'll have to see.
All right.
Totally different quarterback.
I believe in Hafley.
Changes everything.
In Hafley, we believe. We don't have to believe in Goody, especially after the signing today. And we don't have to believe in LaFleur, but we got to believe in Hafley. Lee says 31-20 Packers. All right, Lee. I'm down with it. I like it. Hopefully the Packers get eclipse the 50 play mark offensively in this game. Let's hope for that.
Kidding. We can't have another third quarter where nothing happens again.
Like they know the offense. Can't they hurry it up and run some damn plays instead of like,
I don't know.
God, it's so annoying. All right.
Especially when most of these guys have been there for 3 years already.
I know. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Anyway, that's a little complaint before we go. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your weekend games and relaxing on that. Packers looking good after week 1. We'll catch you soon. Be good, everybody. Stay good.